At the end of the 2024 Pokemon World Championships, we got a brand new Pokemon TCG trailer, really revealing a bunch of new cards and the return of a certain type of card, which we're going to be covering today, and all the exciting new reveals, so let's get into it. Alright, so the trailer starts where they just kind of show a few Pokemon, nothing too big. Then there's a clip of Lily's Clefairy falling over. Lily goes over to help her. Then they go under a tree, have some food, whatever. And then they get attacked by some Murkrows, which there they are. And there's like a cool animation in a sec with the Clefairy, where he uses some kind of fairy move. And then it goes into showing the EX, which is the return of the trainer's Pokemon. Now, if we have a look at this Clefairy, we see that it's got an ability which, as we zoom in, the weakness of your opponent's Dragon Pokemon is now Psychic type, which is pretty relevant now that Regidrago has become a top tier deck. We've got Raging Bolt, which is a top tier deck. Lots of very relevant Dragon type Pokemon in the format, so this can help with something like Gardevoir. You put a one-off in that, and other Psychic decks that you would usually struggle against these now have a nice tech that they could put in to help with that. And if we have a look at the second attack, Full Moon Rondo, it's essentially Raikou Entei Suicune that we had before, reprinted as a Psychic type. It's literally the same thing. But this could be more relevant, as it will be around for longer than them. Raikou and Entei rotate quite soon. And now the new stadium that's coming out in Stellar Crown, was it Area Zero Underdepths? Buffs this damage to ridiculous numbers. If your opponent's got a full bench, do 180, I want to say, which is pretty good. If you're hitting in something like a Regidrago, they only need a few Pokemon on their bench. I think they need you need to do 140 base without weakness. So they need like 6 Pokemon on their bench with an Area Zero. Not too hard for them to do, because they need to bench quite a few Pokemon, like a few Regidragos, 2 or 3 Ogerpon, a Mew, maybe a Squawk from early game, or Pheasantipity. So they could definitely do that, and it's a very efficient attacker. Could be good in some Xatu decks as just like a nice one-off. Also could work with Legacy Energy quite well. It's quite a squishy Pokemon, so making it a one-prizer, similar to something like Monkey Dory. It's like a one-prizer, low HP. Could be alright. But overall, I don't think the card's terrible. I think it's got its niche purposes, but I think it will we'll have to see how the meta changes in the next half a year until it releases. Alright, next we cut to a scene where we can see Marnie and facing Ev in a battle. We've got Morpeko. Another nice thing that we've got in this trailer. Next we see is that Morgrim? Grimmsnarl, that's it. Cuts again to the EX, Marnie's Grimmsnarl. Also maybe hinting at a Morpeko, a new Morpeko card with Marnie in it. And this Grimmsnarl is pretty interesting. Its first ability, when you evolve into it, you get to such a depth of 5 Dark Energy. And was it just Dark Energy? Yeah. And attach them to your Marnie's Pokemon in any way you like. There's hints at maybe a new Marnie's Pokemon. Not just Grimmsnarl, as we saw, maybe Morpeko. You'd have to play through Sword and Shield to figure out maybe some others, but other signature Pokemon of Marnie, that could be EXs or regular forms that this could go well into like a Marnie box. That would be really interesting. Its second attack's fine, 180 for 2 Dark. It's alright. And then 30 Snipe reminds me a bit of Darkrai EX from back in the day. From Dark Explorers, I want to say. Well, that was 90 damage plus a 30 damage Snipe. Obviously, Power Creep is a thing. Everything's a bit bigger now. It's a bit more difficult to knock out. But still, 180 is a consistent 2-hit KO. And for your opponents for not playing Manaphy, as it does rotate soon, you could start building up on the little more setting up decks take a long time. Maybe some Duskull decks. Charmander, Pidgey. You can start chipping away at those for set up for a later KO. So the attack's not bad. I feel like, but then when you got things like Greninja in the format for 1 energy, there's 170, and such step for any card is just significantly better. They're both on a stage 2. Greninja hits more of a relevant weakness. Dark's like an okay weakness to hit now. The only real relevant thing it's hitting is Gardevoir. and most of the Pokemon in that are quite squishy. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's quite cool. I like the attack. The attack's quite cool. But I think it will probably be a bit till this sees play. I'm not really sure when these cards are releasing. My guess would be next year, early next year. Because we've got, what's it, Paradise Dracona. So we've got Stellar Crown as our next set coming out September 13th, I think. And then we've got, which I'll be going to the pre-release, so stay tuned for that. We've got, afterwards, we've seen Paradise Dracona being announced. We've already started having leaks for those. We've got like the new Archaladon EX. If you want to see me do more videos like this, like going down or going over the new reveal cards, just let me know. We've got new Archaladon EX, the Flygon. All of that is coming this year. So my guess would be early next year to maybe like spring would be my guess. But overall, I think this card's really cool. But I think we need some more Marnie's Pokemon, Marnie's support essentially. But I think it's definitely got potential. And then finally, my favourite part of the release, we have N and all of N's Pokemon. This like also this trailer is just so cool. I love the animation style of all of it. It's amazing, Pokemon, well done. But yeah, as we can see, or we'll see in a sec, it kind of just goes through. Another thing you can see, all the Pokemon that N's Pokemon are fighting are meta decks, or decks in the TCG. We've got Zard, Shampoo, Dragapult, and here we see, oh, ignore that, that's right. So yeah, here we see Zoroark EX, the return of a Zoroark Ultra Rare, which is just amazing. It's got that trade ability back from, when was that back? When was that back last used? Zoroark GX back in 2018 when it won the World Championships. Very high, very cool. It's got that second attack for 2 Dark Energy. You can copy one of your benched N's Pokemon, which is really cool. It's similar to something like I know it's very similar, like normal thing for Zoroark cards to do. Either damage based on like bench Pokemon or copying attacks. So like as we saw with Zoroark from Evolving Skies, copy attacks from your discard pile. Zoroark GX did damage based on yours and your opponent's bench Pokemon. Zoroark V-Star did damage based on your bench Pokemon's damage counters. So it's a very Zoroark-y kind of attack. And as we can see, there was a second Ends card revealed, which was Reshiram. Now Ends Reshiram for a fire and a lightning energy. Has that powerful rage attack that is 20 times the amount of damage counts on it. We've seen similar attacks before with the Heartflame Ogerpon. Obviously that's an Ogerpon, it's got its whole different engine with like the all like Ogerpon deck, but this can be used. Fire and Lightning is an annoying attack cost, but we don't have to use that. We can choose 2 Dark with the Zoroark and then copy it from the bench, so we could like tank it and attack and then hit back at our opponent for big numbers. 280 HP on a stage 1 on the Zoroark is actually pretty nice. It's a decent amount for stage 1. Sometimes we see some with like 250, 260 with the Golden Go. So 280 is a nice, decently big number. And the second attack for 4 energy, it's like 2 colorless, fire, lightning, 170. 170 is not bad, so 2-hit KO on anything in the format. But then obviously we can just copy it for 2 Dark with the Zoroark. I'm assuming they're going to release more Ends Pokemon, so we can have like a Ends box with a. So we have obviously Zoroark as the main attacker, load up our bench with different Pokemon, and then copy those attacks. It kind of reminds me of Mewtwo and Mew tag team from way back in Sun and Moon Unified Minds, where copied attacks from Pokemon in your discard pile. Also kind of similar to Regidrago now. Obviously Mew and Mewtwo was there weren't as many limitations. This is only Ends Pokemon. That was just copy anything. Regidrago only copy Drag. I think they realised how strong that was, so they had to nerf it with this. But it's still really good. The fact that you can just copy anything for 2 Dark Energy, or any of your Ends Pokemon. So, Ends Pokemon that they could release, as we saw in the trailer, Obviously we've got Zorak and Reshiram. Maybe could be a Darmanitan. I'm not sure, but we have to see closer to the set release. And as we see hinted at the end of the trailer, there's more trainers other than Lily, Marnie, and N come into the roster. Pretty sure we saw Arvin, Misty, and maybe Red come into the roster, which could be amazing. I love Arvin. Misty's a really cool OG trainer, way back in Kanto. Same with Red. Arvin's a very beloved character. Maybe we could have like Arvin's Mabostiff, Misty's Starmie, EX, Misty's Lapras, something like that. Does Misty have a Lapras? No, it's just Starmie. Misty, Starmie, EX. We could have like, I don't know, Red's Charizard, Red's Pikachu, EX. That could be really cool. I'm just painting up some ideas there, but yeah.